A cool night fell over Chicago. Michael Jordan was alone on his private training court, taking shots under the dim light. The moonlight reflected off the sweat on his face. That night, one thought was haunting him: come back. Even at 60 years old, the fire inside him hadn't faded. Basketball was his life, and after retiring years ago, he still felt like something was missing. A few weeks earlier, his old coach Phil Jackson had sent him an unexpected message. MJ, I still feel there's something left in you. Maybe one more dance is what you need. Jordan had laughed it off at first, but since that message, his thoughts had revolved around those words. He wanted to know if he still had it, to step back onto the court for one final test. But was it even possible? He was nearing 60. Could he still compete with the young super athletes of the NBA? Jordan knew that he had to train harder than ever to find out. The next morning, before dawn, he walked into the gym. The first training session was a disaster. His movements weren't as fluid as they used to be. His knees cracked when he jumped, a reminder of time's brutal passage. After a few attempts at a turnaround jumper, he was out of breath. But giving up was never an option for Jordan, so he called up his old trainer, Tim Grover. Grover had been the man who helped him become a champion. When the phone rang, Jordan didn't waste any time. Tim, I want to go back to the court, but this time it's going to be different. I'm not in my 20s anymore. Can you help me rebuild myself? Tim Grover paused for a moment before answering. MJ, if anyone else said that, I'd laugh. But it's you. You're Michael Jordan. And so, the legendary training process began. Every morning at 5 a.m., he started with weightlifting. His muscles weren't as powerful as before, but his biggest weapon was his mind. He had lost some of his explosive power, but his basketball IQ was still top-notch. Over the course of weeks, he perfected his shot mechanics. He worked on defense drills with precision. He followed a special endurance program. But most importantly, he began to feel like a champion again mentally. Yet there was still one test he needed to pass. One day, while practicing, a young rookie walked onto the court. Jamal Carter. Jamal was one of the newest superstars in the NBA. He was 22, incredibly athletic, and bursting with confidence. He had grown up with Jordan's posters on his walls. Now he was facing him on the court. Jordan smiled and tossed him the ball. Let's see what you've got, young man. Can you really take me out? The game began. Jamal was fast and strong, and for a few possessions he was giving Jordan a run for his money. But Jordan, a basketball genius, knew exactly what to do. As minutes passed, Jordan began to read Jamal's moves. He used the rookie's speed against him, taking advantage of the little openings in his defense. Soon enough, MJ was back to his old self. A fake shot, followed by a smooth fadeaway. An unexpected steal on defense. A patient dissection of Jamal's weaknesses. Jamal couldn't believe what he was seeing. I can't believe this guy is still doing this, he thought to himself. And that moment made Jordan realize something. If a young superstar like Jamal thought he still had it, then maybe it was time for him to come back. A few weeks later, Jordan received a phone call that would change everything. It was from NBA Commissioner Adam Silver. MJ, we want to have a special exhibition game this year at the All-Star Weekend, with old legends facing off against the new generation. Would you be interested in playing? Jordan's heart raced. This was his chance. One final time to step on the court. And so, the day came when Michael Jordan stepped onto the court for the last time. As the game began, everyone knew he was still a legend. The entire arena watched in awe. Old teammates Scottie Pippen and Dennis Rodman were in the stands, cheering him on. First quarter, Jordan hit his first few shots, including his classic fadeaway. The crowd was on their feet. Second quarter, he faced LeBron James in a one-on-one. They locked eyes for a moment, and Jordan smiled before spinning past him and finishing with a tough layup. Third quarter, Jamal Carter stepped onto the floor. Now, the battle between the old and new generation was on. Final quarter. The last minutes of the game. Jordan had the ball. In the dying seconds, he went for a classic fadeaway jumper. The ball sailed through the air, gracefully arcing toward the basket. And then it went in. And in that moment, everyone realized Michael Jordan had left basketball on his terms. That game went down in history. Jordan's final farewell to basketball left a deep mark on everyone's heart. At the end of the night, LeBron James and Stephen Curry walked up to him. LeBron smiled. I never thought you could still do it, MJ, but you You've always been the greatest. Jordan gave a soft smile. He looked at the hoop one last time and then walked off the court. It might have been his last game, but his legacy would forever remain on the court. If you like this story, please don't forget to like the video and share it with your friends. Subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications for more inspiring stories. Remember, sometimes a small act of kindness can completely change a life.